Hi there, welcome to Kneppy Invest and welcome to the 5th of September 2024. A much calmer day on the markets. Most of the indices are in green, apart from mining. Another down day for mining. I wonder if that is energy, particularly oil. I had a look at this morning in regards to commodities, and oil seemed to be down a fair bit. So we'll see if that is valid in a second or so. Another quite quiet day on the market. Yeah, I said quite quiet. Day on the markets today. Not many interesting announcements. Maybe one, maybe two that I can think of. But I have drawn up a top five stocks of the day. The last one was a recent addition. And when I say recent, I mean 5 minutes ago. And the reason I included this company was because they received a price and volume query from the ASX, which is really interesting because this company has a market cap of something like $10 billion. So the share price must have done something unusual today for this type of company to get a price and a volume query from the ASX. So the agenda for today's video, fairly similar, almost identical to other videos in this series. I'll go through the best and worst performing sectors, indices, and also companies. Then we'll go through the top five stocks of the day. And I will finish this video talking about one of your comments. And this is a fairly relevant comment and a very important comment, and particularly the way I address the concerns raised in this comment. So that will be towards the end of the video. I'm not sure if I'll do a standalone video. I was thinking of doing a Nick Scali because I am thinking of lightening my load in Nick Scali, and I just want to discuss why. Yeah, so depending on how long this video goes for, I might do that. Anyway, so let's get into the ASX today. So an okay day in the markets. I would have liked a little bit of a better bounce, but I'm pretty sure the American markets were down or flat. Yeah, NASDAQ was down slightly, Dow Jones up slightly. So we have really mirrored the American markets today, and not much interesting things happening, although tech is up a fair bit, which is interesting in itself, while mining is down. So they've sort of balanced each other out. So let's have a look at the individual sectors. Yeah, IT, pretty good day. Maybe you could say that's a little bit surprising, particularly because the NASDAQ was down. If we do open up the IT sector, what's had a good day today? Let's have a look. No, not market cap. No, yeah, you will do it by market cap, sorry. NextDC. Sorry, I've given away one of my top five stocks of the day and the company that did receive that price query from the ASX, up 9.18%. In fact, the top seven companies here by market are all up, almost all up by 1% or greater, except Technology One. So pretty good day for IT today. So let's go back and have a look at the remaining sectors. Real estate's had a good day, nice little bounce. So no doubt Goodman Group's had a good day. Financials, more than likely the banks, staples, telecommunication materials, and industrials, all relatively flat. And there's energy, down 4.2%. I have a feeling that's probably Woodside, Santos, and I'm wondering what's happened with uranium. So let's have a look at what's caused this weakness in the energy sector. I will have a look by market cap again. And there is Woodside down 6.7%. I am assuming they went ex-dividend. So let's confirm that. Did Woodside go ex-dividend? And that is quite common at this time of year. And the dividend, yes, they've gone ex-dividend. And that dividend was $1.02. So they have dropped a little bit more than the dividend by about 80 cents. But yeah, that's the reason why Woodside is down a fair bit today. Where is it? Whoops, I've closed out the wrong one. Coal companies down. Santos is also down. And then, yeah, actually, uranium's Paladin's up. Palantir's up. Boss Energy's down. Deep Yellow's up. So a little bit of a mixed bag there for uranium. But overall, I'd say the main weak, and Karoon's down 6.27%. Do they have a dividend? I actually don't know. Let's have a look. No, actually, in fact, they went ex-dividend 2 days ago. So that is surprising that Karoon is down by 6.3%. And I'll just actually have a look at the oil. So oil is actually below $70 now. And if you have a look at the chart here, ooh, it does look pretty weak, doesn't it? It's getting to the point where I think we're going to see some maybe a bottom in oil soonish rather than latish. Particularly if you look at the weekly chart here for oil, it's getting down to interesting levels. If it breaks through about $65, that would be unusual, but it's getting to the point where I think there could be maybe some value investors looking at some of these oil companies. Okay, so that's energy, had a bad day. If we look at the different indices, where's gold? Gold's up 0.53%, and ASX 20 is up 0.18%. And we've already looked at some of the companies within the ASX 20. So I'm going to say 12 up, 8 down. I'm going to get it right one of these days. 13 up, 7 down. And the worst performing, Woodside, ex-dividend. Fortescue went ex-dividend yesterday, so a little bit more weakness today, down 1.45%. Telstra went ex-dividend a few days ago, maybe even a week ago. They're down as well. And the best performing companies in the ASX 20 include ANZ, REA Group, which had a bad day 2 days ago. NAB, Westpac. So banking has had a really good day today. Where's CBA? CBA still going higher. Okay, so let's have a look at the worst and best performing companies today. We'll have a look at the top gainers. A company called Energy Metals. I wonder if they deal with metals that are energy-like. Is that lithium? No idea. I have never heard of this company before. Ticker code EME. Market cap is 19.9 million. Share price is up 35.751% on an okay turnover, but I don't know if the turnover is good for this company. It could be fairly weak, but let's have a look. Outstanding drilling results from Biggery. So obviously the market has liked these outstanding drilling results from Biggery. I'm a terrible at trying to pronounce stuff. What was the ticker again? EME? Yeah, Energy Metals. Let's have a look at the chart for Energy Metals, and not for me. Well, that's a weekly chart. I would suspect that even the daily chart looks pretty weak, yeah. Share price has been in the downtrend, and in fact, there's been a fair bit of selling today for Energy Metals. Share price got as high as 13.5 cents, so a lot of enthusiasm, and more than likely that high was reached on open. The whole reason why the share price has fallen today and there's been a bit of selling is because the share price has been at higher prices in the past, so a little bit of resistance moving forward. I do like the volume. So it's very important when a company releases this sort of announcement that there's very little resistance moving forward. That's when you see you really see a share price break out. But Energy Metals has had trouble doing that because of resistance. Holders wanting to get out of this dog stock. So Energy Metals, a company I have not really heard of before. I'm going to put that into my high volume spec watch list, and we can move on. Ameria. Fairly low volume for the rest of these good performing companies. There's Money Me. I should have got in 14.3%. And stock of the, well, actually, it wasn't stock of the day, was it? My featured company, my standalone video Stealth Group, they did investor webinar this morning, and share price is up 13.33%. So there's a possibility that the market liked what they heard in this particular investor webinar. I'm pretty sure they might have also released a presentation. A lot of times they will release a presentation if they do this. So let's have a look. Yes. Not only that, presentation, they've announced a stealth dividend reinvestment plan. I'm going to have a look at this presentation when I finish this particular video. I have no intentions of selling it just yet, but if I do see the share price rally much more from here, say if it gets to 40 cents, I will consider selling, taking profits, because that would be a nice little gain. Appen up 13%, and Envirosuite up 11%. Let's have a look by market cap, see if there's any big surprises. Infratrails had a good day. There is some. Infratrail is into data centers. NextDC is into data centers. Global Data Center, GDC, has gone into a trading halt in regards to their holding in AirTrunk. AirTrunk has been sold. And we'll have a look to see what NextDC says, why they think the share price has gone on a run today. Charter Hall, Aussie Broadband, another pretty good day for that company. I'll have a look at the chart for Aussie Broadband and also Charter Hall Southern Cross Gold did release an announcement today. So I was thinking about putting that company into the top 5. It was drilling results again, and it's only up 4.21%. So share price actually dropped. Yeah, share price has dropped a little bit since in the last 20 minutes. So Southern Cross Gold discovers 135-meter wide gold antimony zone below Golden Dyke. So have a look at the investor presentation if you like this company. And maybe, in fact, I'll do it now. Let's have a look at the chart for Southern Cross Gold, because this chart for this company has been looking pretty good for quite a while, if I remember correctly. Yeah. Share price broke out back in September last year, and share price has gone up about threefold, 3.5-fold since then. Possible double top, very close to a double top. So even though share price has rallied today, share price has fallen a fair bit over the last few days. There's Pantoro, KMD Brands, Appen, Visan, a company I do own. Go Visan, up 8.64%. We'll have a look at that chart too, because I like that company. I am trying not to be too biased. I do personally like that company. Just because I personally like the company doesn't mean you have to. You have to think for yourselves. And let's have a look at the top losers today. And I'm pretty sure there it is. Coronado Global Resources down at 16.9% on pretty big volume. And that company is in my top 5 stocks. In fact, that company is at number 1. In fact, I haven't ranked these yet. Which one will come in number 1? Coronado. Number 2, I'm going to put Challenger. Number 3, well, I shouldn't be. I'll put Adhairs, and then Magellan, and then NextDC. There we go. I'm hoping Challenger is in this list. Let's cross our fingers, just because I think the share price might have taken a bit of a hit today for one reason only. It's not here so far. So let's have a look by market cap. And Woodside Mineral Resources. Geez, let's have a look at the chart for Mineral Resources. Share price just keeps on dropping. It has to be getting to the point where there is a bit of capitulation. Now, just going to have a quick look. No, nothing there. Let's go back to the top losers. Champion 9, Coronado, Karoo. Already talked about some of these companies. I'm completely skipped Challenger. So Challenger is in my top 5 stocks today, and I'm not surprised to see the share price down 10.7%. Well, maybe I thought it wouldn't drop that far or that much, but there is a reason why the share price has dropped, and I'll discuss that in a second. And as we go down this list, some nothing much really else I want to discuss. Okay, so let's get to the top 5 stocks of the day. And we'll start off with NextDC. This is the company that did get a price query from the ASX. Share price up 8.6% today. And we're very interested to see what they said, because I just noticed they did release this, and that's why I put in the top 5. So response to ASX price query. I want to see if they say something interesting or something enlightening about the company. Maybe, because a lot of times, for those who don't know what a price query is, when the share price of a company rises or drops by a significant amount, typically on pretty large volumes. So sometimes you'll see it's a price and volume query, and there's no explanation for the rise or drop in share price on larger volume. The ASX does get a bit curious, and they ask the company a couple of questions. In fact, they ask the company 3 questions. Typically, the first question is, do you have any information they have not released to the market that could explain the rise or drop in share price? And I'd say 95 to 99% of times, a company will answer that particular question no. And if they answer that question no, they can skip question 2 and then they go straight to question 3. Question 3 is, well, is there any other reason why you think the share price of this company or your company is rallying or dropping like a rock? And a lot of times you will get some interesting responses from companies. Not all the time. Sometimes you just get no, not applicable, and no. So let's have a look to see what NextDC says. Now, it does become even more interesting when they do answer one with a yes, and then there's an explanation. So they have to answer question 2 after that. In fact, it's 3 parts to question 2. But uh, no surprise, NextDC have gone no to question 1, not applicable to question 2, and in question 3 is where it might be interesting. So if the answer is no, is there any other explanation that NextDC may have for the recent trading into securities? And they do have an answer here, but it's fairly short. And who knows if this is right. The company understands it has been included in the Nareit Real Estate Index Florida Review 2024, released in the United States overnight Australian time. In addition, it notes that there has been significant recent activities in the data center sector. I reckon they've hit it there. I don't know. I reckon that's, yeah, I'm just seeing Infratel up a fair bit today as well. And I'm just thinking this confirmation of the deal with AirTrunk being sold to, what was it, Blackstone, for 24 billion Australian dollars. That could be one of the reasons why NextDC is risen today. But that was rumored, that AirTrunk deal was rumored 2 days ago, and that's why global data center share price rose, was it 8% 2 days ago? So a potential arbitrage there. If I knew NextDC would rally on that news, I would have bought some NextDC shares. Anyway, so let's have a look at the chart for NextDC. There was a little bit of weakness in this company's chart when they released their results. I have a feeling, if I remember correctly, it was back on the back of disappointing guidance. I can't remember now. But if you do have a look at the chart, share price has been quite volatile the last month and a half. Share price went to a high of 1850, dropped all the way down to 1550, and now is back up to 1755. Not a breakout. And one of the reasons I do this sort of thing every single day is I am looking for breakouts, and NextDC doesn't fit into that criteria. So NextDC coming in at number 5. 4, Magellan. Typically, what Magellan released today is not the sort of thing, not the sort of announcement that would get me excited, although, because it's a funds under management. Let's have a look at last month's fund under management. We'll have to go back 3 months. And I thought this company might have hit an inflection point. So the funds under management for this company have been dropping for maybe 500 years. Well, it seems like 500 years. And I've just been waiting, patiently waiting for it to maybe start moving up. And I thought their funds under management announcement released at the start of August could have been hinting at a bit of a turnaround. Which one was it? It was this one here. So this was their funds under management released at the start of August. And they actually mentioned here, in June, net flows were flat and comprised net retail outflows of 0.2 billion and net institutional inflows of 0.2 billion. And I was like, ooh, I think possibly Magellan Financial Group or Magellan Funds is starting to turn around. Maybe we're going to see some net inflows in the next few months. So when I did see their funds under management announcement, I went, oh, let's see if there's any interesting things here. But no, they've gone back to net outflows. They do have an explanation for a part of that outflows, but net outflows of 0.7 billion, which included net retail outflows of 0.6 billion, of which 0.4 billion was previously notified at our results on 15th of August as relating to outflows following the MGF conversion. But also net institutional outflows of 0.1 billion. So I think we do have to hold off on saying or even thinking Magellan is close to that inflection point. So let's have a look at the chart for Magellan. This has been a company I've been trading. I'm probably less interested in the company now. And yeah, there's no, it looked like it was trying to break out when they did release their results. Share price popped up, kept on going up to about $10 and almost $11, and now it's back to $9. So at this point in time, not a breakout for Magellan. And I think this particular funds under management announcement has probably put an end to me liking or thinking this company is close to that inflection point, unfortunately. Let's move on to a company that has come in at number 3. It's Adhairs. You can just see the dearth of interesting announcements when I'm talking about funds under management for Magellan Group and for Adhairs. I'm talking about the CEO resigning, or not resigning, he's retiring probably. I don't know. Managing director and chief executive officer transition. He hasn't been fired because he's remaining in this role for a while, just so there is a smooth transition. And obviously, whoever's in a CEO of any company, eventually they will retire unless they have solved aging. And even then, why would you want to be in the job for life, even longer than life, if you do solve aging? So, Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer Mark Ronan will leave the group in early 2025. He's been in this company for 17 years, the last 8 as Managing Director and CEO. A lot of times when a CEO, particularly if a CEO has been in a role for a long time, you will see a little bit of weakness in the market because that does raise or increase the risk. And the market doesn't like risk. Investors don't like risk. They want less risk and nice returns. I'm not sure if it works exactly like that. A lot of times you do have to take a little bit more risk to get better returns. But anyway, apparently Mark Ronan played a key role in its IPO in 2015. There you go. Became CEO in 2016, led 2 significant acquisitions to diversify the group, and successfully led the company in navigating the unprecedented challenges of COVID-19. He's agreed to continue his role into 2025. Do they mention anything about the new CEO? No, I would assume that he's going to remain in this role until they find the new CEO, and then there will be a smooth transition. A little bit surprised the share price has not dropped as much, but it seems like maybe the market doesn't care as much. Interesting, 2 days ago, there was a change of directors' interest notice for Mr. Ronan. Did he sell some shares? Oh, number disposed lapse of 1.475 million options. Unfortunately for him. Anyway, so let's have a look at the chart for Adhairs. And is this interesting chart? No, not really. I suppose there's no trend, obvious trend from the start of 2023 to almost the end of 2024, downtrend there. Looked like it was trying to move into an uptrend start of 2024, but that uptrend sort of fizzled out. That's the word I was trying to think of then. Fizzled out, and I'd say there's no trend at this point in time. Obviously, when they released the results on the 28th of August, share price did drop 5.9%. So there's a little bit of disappointment in their results, or maybe even their outlook. So that's Adhairs coming in at number 3. And again, if you do like the CEO of this company, and that's the only reason you hold shares, maybe it's time to rethink your position. For you, it's of if, the big ifs, if. Okay, Challenger Group. This is a company I've been trading, and I think that trade has failed. Well, share price is down 11.43%. It was showing signs of weakness the last week or so, so I was thinking maybe I should just sell out my position. In fact, I actually did write it down somewhere. Yeah, I should sell out this position in A2 Milk, and I got rid of A2 Milk. I should have got rid of this position as well. So Challenger and Apollo Business Relationship. So that was the announcement at 8:24 a.m. Didn't think much of it. And then have a look at the course of sales. Right at the start of the day, there it is. At 8 a.m., 2 big, what do you call them? Big, what do you call it? Orders. 2 big orders. Yeah, orders. Yeah, we'll call them orders. 35.3 million shares each, totaling 460, almost $460 billion. At a share price of $6.51. Yesterday, the share price of this company closed at $7. So a little bit of discount to the previous share price. But sometimes when you do see that big of a trend of a movement in shares, usually whoever's selling will sell a little bit of discount because they want to get rid of a lot of shares all at the one time. But whoever bought shares are now kicking themselves because the share price is $6.21. They could have just bought on market today at $6.21. So they're probably not kicking themselves. But I am, I suppose, intrigued why the share price has fallen significantly below where this company sold their shares at $6.51. And the company that did sell the shares was the topic of this particular announcement. That's not the one. I actually haven't even opened up the announcement for Challenger. So Apollo, not Apollo Creed or Apollo from a battleship, or Battlestar Galactica. Those are the two Apollos I know. Or Apollo, the thing that went up to space and the moon. Anyway, Apollo Global Management today reconfirm strong momentum in the business relationship. However, Apollo has decided to decrease the holding in Challenger from 20.1% to 9.9%. Now, they're trying to say throughout this particular announcement that Apollo and Challenger, there's no difference in their relationship, but there's obviously something is up. Why would Apollo sell more than half of their stake in Challenger? So they tried to persuade everyone that this is no big deal, talking about the relationship, continued collaborative partnership between the two. In fact, the Apollo head of Asia Pacific, Mr. Matthew Michelini, we believe Challenger is a unique platform to offer the next generation of investment products to retirees in Australia. As one of our most important long-term strategic partners globally, we look forward to continuing to collaborate on asset management and product design. I'd like to know why they sold out of some of their shares or half their shares. And now, Apollo was Challenger's biggest shareholder. Now the biggest shareholder of Challenger is MS&AD Insurance Group Holdings, who now have 15.1% stake in Challenger. So the market doesn't like that. They don't like a company selling out half their holdings, particularly if it's a larger shareholder, at a discount, and a fairly big discount at that, 50 cents. We're talking about not quite 10% discount. We'll say about 7.5 to 8% discount. So obviously, chart looks pretty bad now. So I did think this was a breakout. I thought, oh, this is looking pretty good for a breakout. Got above $7.20, and now that has failed. So not all breakouts actually break out. In fact, there was a fair bit of weakness before this day, and there could have been some whispers in the wind about this happening. So I probably should have got out a few days ago. So that's me putting down I should sell my shares in this trade and waiting a little bit too long. So that's Challenger coming in at number 2. Coming in number 1, we have Coronado. Oh no, it's Coronado Global Resources. Share price down 16.44% on financial year 24 guidance update. So obviously we know how the market has reacted to this guidance update is negative. And it is negative. I did open this up because even though Coronado still, I have done one video on this company, I think. So let me have a look. Coronado. What did I say? Let's have a look. Coronado Global Resources financial or half-year results in October last year. There you go. I can't remember what I said, but anyway, let's have a look at why the share price has dropped a lot. So obviously they had some guidance and something's happened and they've decreased their guidance. That is what exactly has happened, and they've blamed it on a few things. And this is probably another reason why mining or investing long-term in mining is fraught with danger. So I've always thought mining as a price taker, which is the truth. They have no control over what price they sell their commodity for. It's all about supply and demand. Now, they can control to a small extent the amount of supply, but demand, no control. So they can increase, decrease production, that sort of thing, but other companies have to do it as well, unless they're the only miner of a commodity. But I have noticed over the past few years, a lot of mining companies are now starting to blame weather, particularly when it comes to rainfall. We had 29 Metals operations north of Mount Isa 2 years consecutively been severely hampered by extreme rainfall. That same thing has happened with Coronado. Now, it's not the only reason for the decrease in guidance here. So during the month of August, the company's Curragh complex was negatively impacted by required mechanical repairs to the overland conveyor, which doesn't really seem like it should be that significantly impactful on the company's performance, but obviously it is, as previously reported. So they've already mentioned this, and subsequent rainfall levels more than 3 times the 10-year monthly average for the area. Now, I have no idea where their operations are. they actually mention it in their about section? Let's have a look. They don't even have an about section. Coronado Global Resources is what I like to do. If I don't know, I'll just go to their website. You could see it in their Australian operations. So it's in the Bowen Basin, Blackwater, that sort of area. I'm assuming they're talking about that. Or maybe it's in their US operations in West Virginia, not surprising. West Virginia, do they say which one was impacted? Companies, Coronado Complex. Okay, Coronado Complex. Which one was that? Coronado Complex. Okay, that's in Australia, so that must be that sort of area. The bitches mentioned here, Coronado has been operating since 1983 and was acquired by Coronado in 2018, 14 kilometres north of Blackwater. I don't remember this area being hit by a lot of rainfall, but I could be mistaken. I'll trust what they say here. It's interesting, the impacts of this rain were well in excess of forecasts. Well, it's hard to forecast excessive rainfall. You can sort of do a climatical or climatological forecast, particularly if there's La Nina, El Nino. So there's a greater chance in La Nina that we're going to get above average rainfall, a greater chance in El Nino we get below average rainfall. But it always worked like that. And we've seen that in the past year. One's now complaining about the meteorologists getting the climate forecast wrong. But meteorologists don't do climate forecasts. So I want to tell everyone that. We only look at the weather over the next 7 days, even less than that. In fact, when I do weather forecasts, I'm looking at the next 30 hours at max, sometimes only the next 12 hours. Anyway, they've also mentioned here the subsequent delays to blah, blah, following the elevated rainfall experienced in Coronado in August. Do they have? I can't remember. And the Australian Bureau of Meteorology's expectations of a La Nina weather pattern, Coronado is reporting a more conservative production forecast for the fourth quarter. Now, the fourth quarter, I'm assuming, is sort of the next quarter, and it's more storm season, and storms can be very hit and miss. Typically, I'd suppose in a La Nina, we should be starting to see the effects already. I have no idea. But I think the La Nina, if we are heading for a La Nina, there is a greater chance of some above average rainfall. Because the other thing we have to take into consideration is sea surface temperatures, which are elevated around Australia. Anyway, so they are blaming rainfall. And this is another thing mining companies have to take into consideration. Rainfall. It is a problem, it seems like. A lot of mining companies are being affected by rainfall. Flooding their mines and all that sort of thing. So another thing, apart from just how mining companies operate, they are price takers, no control over what price they sell the commodity for. They now have to also deal with weather or meteorology or rainfall. Anyway, let's have a look at the chart for Coronado. Does it look interesting? And the answer to that is no. So share price down to 91 cents. I'm going to look at the weekly chart here. And last time share price was this low was back in 2021. So about 3-year low for Coronado Global Resources. Okay, so that's all I got for Coronado. Now I'm going to just look at some charts. I did have a few charts here I want to look at. So first one is Aussie Broadband. And again, every single time, Aussie Broadband. Well, have a look at the daily chart. Nice week for Aussie Broadband. It is starting to look a little bit more interesting. 2 really good days in a row for Aussie Broadband. And the last time the share price was this high for this company was back in May. So it's only about 3 or 4 months ago. We'll say about 3.5 months ago. So it's not quite to where I want. I do prefer a 6-month high, but I will take a 3-month high. But I'm really not calling this a breakout just yet for Aussie Broadband, but it's looking much better than it did not that long ago. And Charter Hall, this is just called Charter Hall, is it? Yeah, Charter Hall Group. I'm pretty sure this was breaking out that long ago. Yeah. So this one came onto my radar when they released the results on 21st of August. And unlike Challenger, where we saw the share price pull back, we have seen no pullback in chart or haul. So this is actually a nice looking chart. And maybe I should become less biased when I make decisions, because this is one of those companies where I just think, not for me. But just looking at the breakout and the chart, that would have been a nice little breakout trade. Visan, if you want to study nice looking charts, this is one to study. Visan broke out back in November 2022 at a share price of around 8 or 9 cents. Current share price is 44.5 cents, and the share price just keeps on going higher. There was a little bit of weakness when they released their results. Share price did pull back a little bit, just a smidgen, but the share price has continued to move up in its uptrend, and today's share price has moved to an all-time high. I think it's an all-time high. Well, if you exclude over 10 years ago, I'm not even sure it's the same company. It could be a completely different company. I have no idea. In fact, we can tell. If you don't know, I have found our market index does give a good indication. So it used to be called MHM Metals. So I'd say back in 2012, this company was MHM Metals, and then there was a reverse takeover by Visan. Let's have a look. Not even sure when it was or would have been. It's going to go back to 2017. So if we go back to 2017, this company, here we go, intention to make takeover bid, MHM update. What's this about? Let's have a look. Mercantile Investment Company, proposed off-market takeover by Mercantile Investment Company. Okay, so that's all I'm going to talk about when it comes to Visan, because this Visan wasn't on the ASX back in 2012. So we'll say that Visan is now at an all-time high. And this is a nice looking chart. And finally, Min Resources. So we're going from a nice looking chart to an absolutely ugly bloodbath of a chart. Mineral Resources just keeps on dropping. In fact, share price this week, even though we're not at the end of the week, is down 21.7% after being down 10.4% last week, 2.4% the previous week than that, and 11.2% the week before that. So share price this month actually, oh no, we've got 2 months. So if you have a look at the monthly data, or the monthly chart, the share price of Min Resources has dropped 25% in June, was relatively flat in July, up 0.67%, and dropped 26% in August, and it is already down 22% in September. Not the best looking monthly chart. Now, back in 2021, we also saw Mineral Resources share price drop 3 months in a row. In fact, it went from down 12.9%, 18.4%, and 13.9%. And other than that, although maybe down here, back in 2015, although that makes sense because iron ore did go through a really bad period during that time frame, and the share price of MinRes fell to $4. Eek. So the charts are looking pretty bad for Min Resources. However, share price keeps on dropping. The volume is elevated. It's been elevated for the last 5 traded days. At some point, there will be value investors who are thinking, oh, there's pretty good value here. Min Resources has dropped to $31. It wasn't that long ago. It was $80. Oh, I see some value. And I think eventually you will see at least a bounce in the share price. But the share price keeps on dropping. I don't know when that bounce is going to be. So that's Mineral Resources, or MinRes. Now let's have a look at this comment. Interesting comment. Go. So, Handshake. Doing individual company financial analysis is risky ground with ASIC, even saying do your own research and not financial advice. I would cross my T's and dots and dot my I's. There is an old saying, better safe than sorry. You have your hand reached out to the fire. One slip and it's a deep issue burn. And Sam Bell D. It's a great shame that community service like this could be banned. Been doing this for 4 years now, and ASIC have never had an issue with me. Wishing for Kneppy to become a financial advisor ain't going to happen. Continue his channel. Some subscriber-only content will be terrific too. I actually did reply saying I do follow these particular guidelines. Now, whether I do it faithfully is another question. So this is something I always look at. Discussing financial products and services on a line. So they do go through examples here. This is influencer, by the way. So not sure if I call myself an influencer. And they do have case studies here. So I'm going to share with you 5 long-term stocks that will do well and which you should buy and hold. So this last bit, which you should buy and hold, I will never say to anyone, you have to buy, sell, or hold this sort of company. I will give my opinion saying, I don't think I would buy this company right now, but I will never, ever give anyone individual advice. Even if I wasn't doing this channel, I would never, ever give anyone individual advice, which is why I would never, ever become a financial advisor. That's not what I would do. I could not do it. That's just me. I could not do it. I just could not do this sort of thing. I tell you what to buy and hold. The reason behind that is we're talking about the future. The future is unclear. And what has really helped me understand that is working in meteorology, because I'm always forecasting the future. And in fact, I will always say to anyone I'm training, and I do train a few people, I will always listen to what you have to say, because if I tell you you're going to be wrong and then I'm wrong, I've just lost all credibility in your eyes. And I have heard people say, a lot of fund managers say, one of the worst things about their clients is they always focus on your mistakes. They never focus on your winners, how well you've done for the client. They will just focus on the little bad things you've done. And it's really interesting because I was listening to this athlete, I forget who it was. This athlete said, retired now, he said, one of the strangest things is you play a game, you play a match, whatever it was, and you did 20 really good things playing that game, but you did one bad thing. At the end of the game, you just focus on the one bad thing. It just plays with your mind. You did really well for the majority of the match. You did one bad thing. You just focused on that. And it seems like a lot of investors do that. They just focus on the negatives. And I have seen this when people talk about, say, Motley Fool, their financial services. Oh, they recommended this company in the past. They're hopeless. But what about all the good things they've recommended? That sort of thing. And I've heard financial managers say this is the problem with a lot of clients. They just focus on those bad decisions they made and completely ignore the really good decisions. And I also believe that everyone should make their own decisions, because the only person that knows you as well as you do is yourself. And only you know what sort of decisions will work for you. So I would never, ever become a financial advisor. And I will always try to refrain. And I would never say you should own or buy this company. So if I do follow what they mention here, I should be okay. Because I do go through some examples where it's okay. So for instance, you can invest and buy a share. So general advice, that sort of thing. Not general advice, but yeah. Talking about you can invest by buying shares. This means you're investing in a company. You get to vote on the company's management. On the other hand, ETFs can track different blah, blah, blah. You can save money each week by preparing your own home-cooked lunches for work instead of eating out. So that is not financial product advice. And they go through quite extensive. And I'm pretty sure, because I'm following this, like holding onto this share in the long term will generate significant returns. I would never say that. I would never say that if you own these shares, you could have significant returns. Sometimes we'll say there is a possibility if, say yesterday, Self Group, if they achieve their goals, there is a chance this company will be much bigger in the future. So something like that. And there's a lot of ifs because we're talking about their future. So I would never, ever say that you have to own this company because it's going to be much bigger in the future. I would never, ever say that, because there's always risks. There's always a possibility something could go wrong. And I don't want to be that sort of person who would recommend something and then that thing goes wrong, because that would be awful. It just wouldn't feel good. Yeah. Something like this. Trading in this derivative is a risk-free way to make a quick profit on the side. I made dollars from trading these alone. I would never say anything like that. And then we're trying to get, yeah. So I do try to follow this. Yeah. And I think I'm doing an okay job. Yeah. I think I'm doing a pretty good job. And my channel, I've been doing this for 4 years and I've had no problems with ASIC just yet. And I have had people reach out to me on occasion saying, well, you have to be careful. But I think I'm doing an okay job. And I think it's very important that you understand yourself when you're doing this sort of thing and just know what you're uncomfortable in saying. And I try to do that. Now, sometimes I am aware that sometimes I am biased in regards to a company. I might really like a company. So I do have to be careful. And sometimes maybe in those situations, something does pass through that could be considered advice. I don't know. So fortunately, ASIC have had no problems with me. Let's have a look at some other comments since I'm here. So no standalone video today because I'm already at 45 minutes. So let's do some comments. CDG says, it's a ghost town in the hot copper forums for this company. I like that. I would not have a clue how Stealth Group is in hot copper, but I really like it when some company in hot copper, there's no one talking about it. That's great for me. And I hate it on the flip side when there's a lot of chatter about a company in hot copper. For me personally, that is a company to be wary about. So that's just me personally again. It's just a little rule I have. Be a little bit more wary about those companies that are talked about a lot on hot copper, even on any sort of social media platform. So thank you. And you found your video there. So do people do that on hot copper? Do they link my videos there? That's interesting. Forest Hill, thanks, Michael. A good company that was under my radar, Stealth, but now my watch list. I made a suggestion in another video that maybe you should do a poll on which companies people want a standalone video on, so you're more likely to get higher views. Thank you. I could do that. Yeah, that's something I could do. Do a poll. Thank you for your advice, Forest Hill. Harry Pag says Keen Falls. Okay. Sensai says Stealth Group 5 cents late March 2020, 30 cents early September 2024, 6-bagger in 4.5 years. But again, the most important thing here is just because it did well in the past doesn't mean it's going to do well in the future. I suppose there is a bit of a correlation there. If it has done well in the past, there is a higher chance it might do well in the future, but not an absolute. But you're just mentioning, you're just reinforcing that I should develop a time machine. Yeah. Although if I did develop a time machine, I wouldn't be doing these videos. C. Huntley. Kneppy, have you done a marathon run? Yes. In fact, I've done 4. 4 marathons. 4 marathons. Leonard, please, says McCullochburg. Oh, a couple of really weird comments here. Keen Falls, McCullochburg. No idea. Trey, odd. Thoughts on WAT and DBI? What is that? Waterco and Dalrymple Bay Infrastructure. I have no thoughts on either one. Waterco. What's the market cap of this company? 187.4 million. I'm just going to have a look at the chart for both of these companies. So when I don't know much about a company, I'll just have a look at the chart. And if I do actually like the chart, I might delve a little bit deeper. First thing I notice when I look at the chart for Waterco is illiquidly traded. It's pretty obvious that this company is illiquidly traded. Is there been any trades today? No trades today. In fact, if you have a look at the first buyer, $5.36, the first seller, $6.50. So if you really want to buy some shares in this company right now, you have to significantly increase the share price. If you want to sell on the flip side, you actually will raise the share price. So that's probably the first thing I would think of. Can I handle a company that is illiquidly traded like this? If I am long-term focused, that's okay. And I've done this before. When I've thought, I'm going to like this company for the longer term, I don't mind buying some shares in this company. Now, you might hear on Ausbiz Core, lobster trap. They will say easy to get into, hard to get out. I actually will push back on that. If a company is hard to get out, more than likely it's hard to get in too. If a company is easy to get into, it's easy to get out into or out of as well. It's all about, I think they mean, if you buy, you're more likely to buy on market. Buy on market. And if you sell on a limit order, it's a little bit different. I have found it difficult with illiquidly traded stocks. I found it difficult to get in and difficult to get out. So it's just not the one or the other. for illiquidly traded companies. But the idea is you buy into a liquidly traded company, and over time the liquidity increases. I have seen this happen time and time again. I'm pretty sure Altium was like that. I'm pretty sure Appen was like that, or maybe not. I'm pretty sure Promedicus was like that. I'm trying to think of some companies whose supply network is definitely like that. The liquidity of supply network is definitely improving or increasing as time goes on. Wasn't long ago that one of the biggest complaints about supply network was liquidity. So last time shares traded in this company were the 2nd of September. So it does trade every month, but not every day. In fact, there was a gap of maybe 3 weeks between 18th of July and 5th of August where there was no trade. So that's my main issue with these type of companies. Other than that, I'm assuming the company is profitable. Not sure why it's liquid. And again, if you look at this long-term chart, going all the way back to 2019, share price is at a beautiful uptrend. So there could be good reasons to own this company for the long term. And you've done pretty well if you have done that. But if you do need your money fairly quickly, you can send the share price down 10 or more % in the one trade. Let's see if that's happened. No, we haven't seen many massive movements in one day for this company. But there was a share price increase of 6% on 1,293 shares traded. A lot of times, a lot of days, you see one share traded. Yeah. So that's probably my biggest issue with Waterco. In fact, I've never looked at that company before. Now, Dalrymple is an infrastructure company. So the question is, do you like infrastructure companies? It's not my favorite sort of thing, but I will trade these sort of companies. P ratio 16.3, dividend yield 7%. So you like the income. Probably the one thing I do remember about Dalrymple was the chart looked okay. Share price was going sideways or something. The share price went, yeah, chart does look okay. No, share price wasn't going sideways, but the chart actually does look pretty good. Yeah, it's a nice uptrend. I would have no problems with this. Markup is 1.56 billion. I'm pretty sure it's a sort of a wharf or something that they load or unload stuff. Pretty sure commodities, maybe coal, that sort of thing. So if you do like that, that play, infrastructure play, and there's fewer infrastructure plays on the ASX because Sydney Airport got taken out. Anyway, so it's up to you. I don't know. Yeah. That's my thoughts on those two companies. Big Boy Baby says, standalone video on stock of the day is a good idea. Well, the only one. Unfortunately, you're the only one who said that. Mayan Vivi. Mayan kissed the. Do you want to kiss the Mayan? Chris Minns, New South Wales Premier. Now, I was thinking of Chris Mintz, the plays, whatever his name is, yeah, because I was watching a movie with him in it. But Chris Minns, yeah, I don't have any thoughts of Chris Minns at all. Zero. In fact, I'm not a big fan of some of his policies. I'll put it that way. I don't know the man himself. Maybe he's a great person. In fact, I have heard some people say, if you get to know someone, more than likely you'll like him. It's why arranged marriages work in India or in other places. I don't know. Another great clip, great effort. Thank you. AMA group price is now above 6 cents. Did you buy Kneppy? I did not buy AMA. Let's have a look at AMA. I completely forgot about AMA. I did not write it down. I should have written down 6.2 cents. So let's have a look at AMA. It's got above 6 cents. A massive volume today, by the way. Although usually they do have pretty big volume. Share price has gone on a really nice little run. Is this a breakout? We could be looking at a breakout for AMA. It's got above 6 cents. Oh, so I had a really nice day yesterday when the overall market was down a fair bit. So that's interesting. And it has been really big volume today. So this could be traders maybe coming in on a breakout. AMA. Could be a good trade. Thank you. I completely forgot about AMA. I should write it down more. Yeah. Jason Nimmo, is JB Hi-Fi in a bubble? Getting close to my 85 target. Once it tops, it's going to be bad for the broader market, in my opinion. This maybe one more question. Is JMA or JB Hi-Fi in a bubble? I'm going to do a standalone video on this tomorrow. I've just decided. I'm going to do a standalone video. Is JB Hi-Fi in a bubble? And CBA in a bubble? And Nick Scali. Or maybe I'll just focus on Nick Scali and JB Hi-Fi. The reason I'm going to do that is because I'm thinking about selling of Nick Scali because I think the valuation is a little bit high, but I do have a plan when it comes to that company. It's not selling out my complete holdings. It's just taking a bit of profit. And I will say right now, I did completely sell out of JB Hi-Fi because I do think it's getting to the point where I can't justify the current valuation. So thank you, Jason Nimmo, for actually writing that particular comment because it's just giving me an idea. Kevin Hennessy says, Kogan, please contact me. Well, I think you have to write to Kogan if you want them to contact you themselves, Kevin. Get in contact with Kogan themselves, not me. I'm not conduit to Kogan. I don't have any conversations with Kogan at all. Scott, 119RB says, Dropsuite with a Pennant, tightening up to you. Dropsuite is a company, it's a company I like, but I can sort of see that. Yeah, share price went on a bit of a run. Share price, yeah, if you do little lines here, yeah. I would say this is just consolidating now. I wouldn't be surprised to see the share price take off a bit, but my main concern is just valuation with Dropsuite. Probably my only concern about this company. I would probably be a shareholder if I didn't have those concerns. But thank you, Pendant. I think Pendant is a little bit different. Pendant. No, Pennant and Flagger. Pendant, technical. Trying to remember what it is. Images. Oh, trading. It's not what I wanted. Pendant. Oh, Pennant. Do you mean Pennant? I have a feeling you meant Pennant, not Pendant. I was going to say I don't know what Pendant is. Okay, yeah, okay. That's Pennant. Oh, I see. Yeah. So Pennant. Flag. I'm also thinking of a flag. So let's go back to Dropsuite. So we need. Oh, I can see what you mean. It's sort of if you draw lines like that, you might have it. Yeah, maybe. It's not quite clear. It seems like there's more of a resistance zone here. It's like this. It's more like that. So I'm not sure if it's exact. Maybe there's a name for that one there. Anyway, thank you for that. I haven't actually had a look at Dropsuite for a while. They did a consolidation, I believe. Yeah, share price used to be like 30 cents, now 3.30. So you haven't seen a 10-bagger with this one. They did a consolidation, decreased the shares by tenfold. So the share price has increased by tenfold. So you haven't gained anything. And James Dean died in 1955. Please review APA's result and outlook. I haven't got enough time for that. I'll have a quick look at the chart for APA, and then I might have a look at their result and outlook. And I did notice that the chart looked really weak. Now, this is another infrastructure play, and share price has really tanked, hasn't it? Share price down to $7.20. This is one where if I do see value, so dividend yield 8%. So don't they have gas infrastructure, that sort of thing? Gas pipelines or something? Let's have a look. Business of owning, managing, operating diverse portfolios of gas, electricity, solar, wind assets. It operates through following segments. A lot more diversified than I thought. For some reason, I just think this company has gas pipelines. I could be completely wrong. Looks like they're a little bit more diversified. Let's have a look at the weekly chart. When's the last time share price was at $7? Well, we have to go back a long way. We have to go back 10 years. In fact, there was a bit of a dip back in 2016. And if you just put at that bottom there, the share price of APA Group is right on those bottoms this company saw back in 2016. So there is a lot of negative sentiment in this company. And you would assume that there's not going to be much difference, not much issue with their performance over the next 5 years. And that means if the company gets back to what it should be performing or how it should be performing, share price should get back up to at least $12.20. So nice little potential capital return. And on top of that potential capital return, you might see a nice dividend. But I'll have to have a close look at APA Big Group because share price has really dropped since they released their results. Okay, so that's all I got for today's video. Thank you for your comments, your questions. Have a good day. And don't forget, I am not a financial advisor. If you do need financial advice, make sure you seek out someone who is qualified and can speak to your own financial needs. That's it for this video. Have a good day. Bye.